Hi guys, and welcome to another Hero of the Week. This week's hero is ex-BBC journalist Emily Maitlis. Here she was explaining how her former employer and other mainstream outlets would sit on their hands as they saw the damage of Brexit manifest itself day after day. Here she is appearing at the Edinburgh TV Festival and explained that journalists were reluctant to confront Brexit, talk about the real impact it's having, which means it drives more and more of the public away from the BBC as a reliable source of information and news. Have a listen.
Here in the UK, we spent early summer watching the havoc at Dover Customs meet with a wall of silence around Brexit. Those who promised to get Brexit done can't mention it, because it clearly isn't. Their insistence on third nation status has meant passport checks and horrendous waiting times. Labour avoids talking about Brexit because it's decided, rightly or wrongly, to distance itself from Remainer tags. And large sections of both the BBC and government-supporting newspapers appear to go into an automatic crouch position whenever the Brexit issue looms large. Many broadcasters fear discussing the obvious economic cause of major change in this country in case they get labelled pessimistic, anti-populist, or worse still, see above, unpatriotic. And yet every day that we sidestep these issues with glaring omissions feels like a conspiracy against the British people. We are pushing the public further away. Why should our viewers, our listeners, come to us to interpret and explain what's going on when they can see our own reluctance to do so?
Finally, a journalist who's willing to stand up and speak so frankly about this. Okay, first she talked about the wall of silence over problems at the port of Dover. This instead was picked up by independent media like Byline TV and even members of the public. The BBC used to be on the front line on issues like this, but instead it was absent. She then talked about those who promise to get Brexit done but don't mention the problems of Brexit. And on many occasions this mirror was not being held up to those who campaigned on such a platform, Boris Johnson being the clearest example. Labour didn't get away unscathed either. I can count probably on one hand the number of times Brexit and Labour has been mentioned in reports by the BBC, and their hands-off approach to leaving the European Union and the consequences of that, which may make political sense for Starmer, is something that a robust media should be challenging. She also mentioned how the British media, in her words, goes into a crouch position when the Brexit issue looms large. I think this is one of the reasons why we're seeing more and more people embrace voices on YouTube and foreign media outlets that have no skin in the game. This, of course, erodes the reputation the BBC has or had, depending on your point of view. What was also interesting is that she said that many people in the media fear being branded unpatriotic if they criticise Brexit. Now, while I think this has changed somewhat, it was certainly a career ender up to a few months ago. Members of the media would be called out not just by members of the Conservative Party, but also others in newspapers and on TV. Journalists would not stand together against lies and manipulation. You clearly had and still have journalists who are unwilling to call out the Tories, as they are in too deep when it comes to the lies of Brexit. Emily's speech here is extremely important, even if it tells us something we already know. We are finally seeing perhaps the end of the post-truth world. Someone is saying enough is enough. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.